Hello, founders. Welcome to my Founders IO podcast. Today, we are going to talk about high performance processes that any founder or actually any person have to have. Why? Because you have to optimize your time, you have to leverage and increase your performance and your metrics. And I think one of the best way to do this is using the workflows, processes that help you. Is what companies have, is what mostly all of the companies try to achieve when they run their business. It's focusing on developing the right processes or they can move on quickly. And I think you as a founder, that should be one of your priorities. Today I'm going to show you. First, we're going to talk a lot about in this podcast about how processes, systems, and I hope I can share with you a lot of them. But today, I'm going to focus on those systems that are at the personal level. So you can have systems at the personal level, also at the business level, execution level, whatever level you want to name it. For now, in the podcast, because this is a pretty important topic, I'm going to talk to you about personal system that you as a founder need to have to increase speed, performance, agility, and to leverage your time quickly. You have to think now big. And for that, you have to have the right tools, right? This is one of the tools you need for improve your performance and get the things done that you want to get done weekly by weekly, monthly by monthly, year by year. So I hope you also find my podcast valuable. So please share some comments. I'm putting the video here so you can interact with me and share your thoughts, right? Today I'm going to share the most important, for me, these are the most important processes that I have implemented. It takes a while for me to implement these processes because I've been iterating them. I've been trying different tools for I can putting them in place for I can run it easily. And I'm going to talk to you about the goal management system. Is the first process that I'm going to talk to you today. I'm going to talk to you about the finance management system, project management system, and knowledge management system. I have a Notion that I'm using now that I'm running. I can share a template with you if you ask me for it. But basically, I run this for process, and believe me, I can do in one day what five normal engineers or developers can do, or basically two, three founders can do. Believe me, this is not bragging. I run a lot of threads at the same time thanks to this. I block time, I use another strategies, Pomodoro techniques, I different things. But this is one of the most important things. And I'm going to go deeply into these levels. So to the goal management system, I like to put the names to the things where I can remember and I recall it correctly. That's why I can talk to you right now without having any scripts because I do like to memorize things as best as possible, and I do use mnemonics for that. GMS, for example, is the mnemonic that I use for goal management system. And the way I think about goals is pretty important. I've been talking a lot with short videos in this channel about goals. You can move, or you shouldn't move in the right place to the right place without goals. Goals are your targets, your endlines, and you have to evolve and you have to take care of them like if you were your child. Why? Because they set the directions, the checkpoints of your future. This is the way that I see it, right? And for that, the big and the most important idea that I will share with you about goals, settings, and your goal management system and the goal system and any process that you can build around your goals um, is you have to look at them closely, not once a year, okay? Preferably every day. So I have a 10 years goal tab that I expand every quarter of the year. Okay, I have a quarter, I have a year view, I have a quarter view, I have a month view, I have a weekly by weekly view. So this is how I run my goals, right? So I put the goals, the big goals from 10 years to 5 to yearly, and I try to in the day by day basis to stay close to those that are closest to reach. Okay, I'm not going to talk about delegation. I'm not going to talk to you about those are normal things that mostly every person understand. I want to talk from the goal management system about how to have it, the importance of having and see your goals in a daily basis and have an expanded view and also a short-term view, which is pretty important for any strategist. When you read about strategics in business and also in work, you will see that they have like long-term, short-term, mid-term, and this is the way that I expand this. Right, you have the 10, the 5 year, yearly, monthly, quarterly, quarterly, monthly, and weekly. And what this system that I have here, that I hope to show you at some point, I'm not showing you right now because I have to remove almost all my personal goals, and I want to create a template where I can share with you for free, and you can use it to improve your day by day basis. But this is pretty important that you have it. You can keep control of them. You have to have a sheet, whatever you want to do it. If you don't want to use this one, you have to have a list, something that you write down your goals, your dreams, your targets, and you set it down those that are already completed. Okay, this is pretty important to do. And if you follow me, you will see that I will talk about goal settings because I think this is one of the most important process that you need to have. Any person, any founder, any engineer, any family, any warrior, any person has to have to do. Okay. Inside the goal management system, I want to talk to you about one important thing, one important view that I have. That is, I name it OKR, Operational Key Result Metrics. It's pretty important that every goal has some type of metrics that you want to check the progress on, and you want to contrast these metrics against different ways of we can name it different ways of compare against the world. I use these metrics as a progress checkpoint, also as a way to compare my progress, my rate of progress against other people's. This is a more complex concept that I want to talk in next and in coming episodes. But today I want to talk to you about just the existence of it, which is you have to have metrics and you have to have important metrics. There is a difference between vanity metrics and operational key metrics. Okay, so I will hopefully talk to you about the difference of those in coming episode. The next the next system that I think everyone have or everyone at least have in the best way or right way possible is the finance management. If you are a founder, you are running a lot of threats, and one of the most important thing for you as a founder is that you don't get out of money. You need to handle your finance correctly, right? You need to move in the finance world, and you need to understand how to apply risk in the right way. Why? Because you are already taking risk, right? From the finance, I don't want to talk about this. There is a lot of information about finance, a balance sheet, a cash flow sheet, so you can use whatever you want. For me, it's mandatory that I have for every project at least an income and expenses number that I can keep track on every week, weekly by weekly. This is pretty important. The most important thing I try to keep them close to my eyes, to my attention. Okay, but you have to have something that you can close in a weekly base or maybe in a monthly or quarter base, but you have to have it, and it's important you can keep track of them. So that's ways how you don't lose your subscriptions. That's how you understand what tools you need to buy, what you can buy. You understand what number or what type of product you should optimize in order to get the most income or the more revenue depending on the niche you are, right? Okay, now we are talking about the project management system. This is a pretty big, simple or complex system. Okay, one of the things that I did after spending quite few months making these systems specifically for how I want them was the project management, because there is a lot of tool about project management, but if you go deeply in this world of startups, And basically, if you are a developer, you are used to get um, to work with this type of tool. But as a founder, you have to optimize everything you can. And one of the things you need to optimize is complexity. I try to make everything as simple as possible. I try to optimize my life because it's already complex. You have another thread also running. You have family. You have if you are a sport. If you like some sport, you go outside and do some sport. You do all that. You have to include all your areas, which is pretty complex, with also the founder area of your life, right? and and the project management system will help you to understand what projects you can prioritize, which one you cannot. The way I used to have 4 areas about projects, which is the only thing that I need. I have a view of the projects that I have, the status of those projects, those that I'm backlogged, those that am running currently, and those that I'm thinking on. Okay, I keep a track of all the ideas. For me, an idea is just a project that is in the backlog. Okay, so this is just a view. I have another view which is called Springboard. This is, I think this is on the only artifact that I use from the Scrum methodology. I like to use a sprint. For me, a sprint is just a weekly base that has only 7 days from Sunday to Saturday. I run all the tasks and I try to accomplish as much things as possible. Okay, and for me, that's on a springboard. I have a springboard view here in Notion that I'm seeing right now, where I can see the status of every project and the tasks related with those projects. I also have a task view, the sprints view, which is normally how I weekly by weekly prepare my tasks. But basically, this is my project. My project template is just um, I need to understand few important things: what project I'm running, the status of the project, the effort, which is pretty important for me. It's just an estimation because sometimes you just can't keep track of everything. But as a single person, at least these 4 areas, repeat again: projects, sprint task, and sprint boards for checking the status. I think this is pretty very important for you. Okay, and one for the latest system that I'm going to talk to you today, which, to be honest with you, is, I think, one of the systems that I spend most of the time building. Why? Because I'm fascinated with consuming information. I do like to consume a lot of information from different sources. I like to read, I like to learn a lot. And I spend quite a time trying to figure out the optimal ways of learning, to obtaining wisdom, which a lot of people like to, in YouTube and other references. For me, it's just a knowledge management system today, which I spend like quite time trying to understand it. I wish for you it's pretty clear, but um, believe me, it took me a while to create this whole idea, this process of how I process information and how I filter information, how I archive the information, and how I memorize that information, which seems pretty straightforward, but it's not. But I'm going to simplify this for you because I'm pretty fascinated with this process, um, knowledge management process or system. So basically, you have inputs and outputs. And I will simplify this to you, but we can go as deep as you want next episodes. Um, but basically, if you figure out the way you consume information, the way society consumes information is based on input. So when you say input, is there are all the type of references. You can read from a book, you can get information from YouTube, from internet, from your parents, from your wife, from your from your friends, from your professor, from your manager, from your company. Information sources, input are anything that you can archive that is related with your knowledge and comes from any type of source. Okay, and I also see output. So basically, my knowledge management system is a component of input and output. And output, this is just a type of output. I put a lot of content outside. I share all the things that I'm learning with you in this podcast, in YouTube, in my newsletter, Fund.io newsletter, in Substack. I also write a lot of tweets. I try to write some letter at least weekly by week. I put a lot of content outside. And and for me, this is fascinating. I think you shouldn't consume as much information as you put out. So the way I see it right now, it took me a little while to figure out this, but you learn more when you put more information outside, and you learn more when you evolve the information, the same information you read or you consume. So and the fact is that most of the people are consuming your just yesterday information, which is one of the big problems that we are having right now. I'm not going to talk about this today, but you should put more content outside from the one that you are consuming. That's the total truth, or at least you should equalize the amount of content you consume with the amount of content you put outside. This is the biggest insight about this knowledge management system. Basically, I have a view which we have a list of all the inputs. When I say input, is um, uh, articles, books that I want to read, um, insights that I learn from my day basis, lessons that I learn, mistakes that I learn, um, and I try to memorize them in some ways with some techniques. Not all of them, the most important, and I try to condensate all this information into outputs. Outputs that are tweets, Twitter threads, essays, articles, podcasts, and videos. If you are a founder, this is pretty important. You spend some time trying to optimize this part because with this strategy that we're going to talk about for first time founders in this Founder IO podcast, right now, this is one of the most important things. You have to create a lot of content. You have to go inside content marketing and put a lot of effort trying to figure it out. What are your niche? What are your features of the product you want to build, and how to validate them? So you have to have community for that. It's preferred if you have it. And for this, I'm sharing all these systems. I'm sharing more systems in the coming episodes, but I hope this episode worked for you. And please leave me a comment about them and go to my Founder IO, which I would post in the link of this video and podcast, and I will share more details about the existence of these systems. See you in the next video, and hopefully you have a great weekend. Bye.